Welcome to Type to Learn training video series. This training will cover Type to Learn settings, group settings. So once you sign in to Type to Learn, you're going to scroll to your building and select your building as an admin. If you are logging in as a teacher, then you're going to go directly to your navigation bar and scroll down to TTL settings icon, which is third from the bottom. From your TTL settings, you have the option of selecting group settings. This is your classroom setting for the entire class, or user setting. A user setting is for an individual student. We're going to focus on group settings. Today we're going to edit the settings for Mrs. K's first grade class. So we're going to click on that class and you're going to see that it's highlighted. We do have the option of editing multiple classroom settings at the same time if we choose to. But for today, we're just going to focus on Mrs. K's first grade class. In Mrs. K's class, our default settings are K to 2. There is also a 3 to 6 and a 7 to 12 default settings. Under general settings, we have music and sound effects enabled. We have instructions and narration enabled. Our vocabulary level is K to 2. There are 3 vocabulary levels to choose from. And there are 2 design levels to choose from. Our ergonomic breaks are every 10 minutes. We have the option of moving them to 20 minutes or to 30 minutes. And you have the option of the duration of your break from 30 seconds to 60 seconds to 90 seconds. The next section is our lesson settings. In lesson settings, you have the ability to prevent students from going past a set lesson if you don't want them to move through the program too quickly or move ahead of the rest of the class. If you want to have students start at a specific lesson, then as you can see right now, it is grayed out and we cannot access it. And this is because the program defaults to requiring a pretest. If we disable this pretest, then we can go back in to start at, and we can start students at lesson 1 if we would like. For right now, we want students to start at the pretest, so we're just going to leave it disabled, and we're going to click back on that pretest. When the security checks come onto the screen, right now we have it set for errors allowed because these are first graders and we don't want them to get frustrated. If you have a class of high school freshmen, then you might want to have 100% accuracy before they have to move on or they have to redo the security check. But for our little first graders, we want them to just be able to type the key correctly. For first grade, we recommend having a reference for hand support. So this is the blue hands that will show up on the screen. By checking this box here, we're allowing students to skip to the final challenge. They will not have to complete the lesson or complete activities unless they're required. Younger lesson A and B, these are recommended for kindergarten through 2nd grade, so this is automatically defaulted and checked for us. If our first graders are using Chromebooks or iPads with wireless keyboards, then we are going to want to check this box because they will not have a numeric keyboard available to them for lessons 29 and 30. For the lessons, we have 3 options for goals. We can use assessment goals. So this will be based upon their pretest and then their 6 formative assessments. You can use grade goals, and grade goals for kindergarten through 2nd grade are 6 words per minute and 60% accuracy. For 3rd to 6th grade students, it is 15 words per minute and 85% accuracy. And 7th to 12th grade, it is 20 words per minute and 90% accuracy. Or we can set our own manual goals by clicking here. The next section is our activities. There are 5 activities embedded in each lesson. They are big ideas, dig this, drone control, message master, and reconnect. We have the option of allowing activities at different times. One, we can never allow the activities. in which case if we click this one, then we don't have to do any work down here. If we allow the activities at any time, this means that they don't have to complete a lesson in order to go into the activity. Or if we want them to do the lesson first, then we want to have it after the lesson is complete. Then within each of these activities, we can require the lesson or require the activity. So that means that the students will see a whited out check mark. We can turn that activity off. The students will view a red X next to that activity. Or we can make it optional. There'll be a blank space there. They can do the activity or not do the activity. Big ideas and drone control, you can also set a time limit for those activities. And for the dig this activity, you can either enable or disable the metronome. Under the assessments, once again, you can require the pretest. You can also make it optional. And then there are 6 formative assessments. If you disable the assessments, then the students will just go through each lesson and activities. If you enable the assessments, then there are some other options to choose from within the assessments features. So you can allow for backspacing in the assessment. So this is allowing the students to correct their mistake. It will still be counted as an error in the assessment, but that mistake won't have to be displayed on the screen. You can allow students to pause their assessments. You can also adjust the time that Type to Learn program will monitor the students during their assessments. You can have a timer displayed for students. This can be seen as a distraction or a motivation. So it is always left optional and you can select it if you choose. And then you have the option of allowing Type to Learn to automatically adjust their goals based upon the 6 formative assessments. The last section under group settings is your accessibility settings. So this gives you the option of changing your language from English to Spanish, to adjusting the font sizes. You can enable audio when students roll over a button. And then you can change color schemes within the fonts for students. Once you have selected all of your settings, then you're going to save changes. When you click the Save button, it's going to prompt you with this message every time. And this message is just reminding you that if you edit your group settings, it will overwrite all individual settings. So it's always recommended to set up your class settings first, those group settings, and then if you have to adjust something for a specific student, to then go in and adjust those individual settings. We're going to click OK. And then the program is going to save our group settings for Mrs. K's first grade class. Thank you for joining us today and watching this training video on Type to Learn group settings.